I didn't tell them. We still have a couple people in the lobby we'll wait for. While we're waiting, we can all silence our cell phones. I did too. I know. Okay. Good morning. My name is Nina Hens, and I am your worship associate this morning. Welcome to those of you who are here with us in person at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke, Virginia. We extend a special welcome, and I see several new faces, if you are joining us for the first time, and we hope that you can join us for coffee in the Memorial Garden after the service. Coffee service is set up right there, and there's a door that goes right outside to the Memorial Garden. We also say welcome to those of you who are joining us on YouTube today. Remember that if you are on YouTube, type any joys or concerns into the chat within the next 15 minutes so that we can report those out during the service today. Our minister is the Reverend Walter LaFleur, who is actually on his summer sabbatical. So today, our guest speaker is our very own Anna Tulu, who is our second-year seminarian, and we're delighted to have her. She will also be here next week, I might add, contrary to what the newsletter said, but that's a long story. Yeah. The focus of this morning's message is Eat the Strawberry. Remember to silence your cell phone. Whomever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness, overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself, or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. Is Walker here? Okay, so we're not going to have a board report today, so I will just move right into sounding the tone for the 7 principles of Unitarian Universalism. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world.
Our opening words are from Mary Oliver, The Summer Day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper, this grasshopper? I mean, the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who is eating sugar out of my hand, who is moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who is gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to be idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I've been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life?
Inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of light.
Good morning. My name is Jessie. I'm the Director of Lifespan Faith Development here at UUCR. And my shadow today is Alice. You can wave. Yeah. Today I have one of my favorite books for you. It's called When the Wind Stops. It's by Charlotte Zolotoff, and it was illustrated by Stefano Vitale. And I'm actually going to leave it in the lobby. YouTube folks get, they can zoom in. It's a little harder for you guys to zoom in. So I'll leave it in the lobby as I usually do so you can look at the beautiful illustrations that are in this book. And if you want to move closer and sit in one of these front seats, that's fine too. The great bright yellow sun had shone all day, and now the day was coming to an end. The light in the sky changed from blue to pink to a strange and dusky purple. The sun sank lower in the long, glowing clouds. The little boy was sorry to see the day end. He and his friend had played in the garden. When they were tired of playing, they lay down in the grass and felt the sun on them, warm and soft like a sleepy cat resting. There had been icy lemonade in the afternoon when they drank under the pear tree. And the little boy's father read him a story on the porch before he went to bed. Now his mother came to say goodnight. Why does the day have to end? He asked her. So night can begin, she said. Look. She pointed out the window where high in the darkening sky, behind the branches of the pear tree, the little boy could see a pale sliver of moon. That is the night beginning, his mother said, resting her hand on his shoulder. The night with the moon and stars and darkness for you to dream in. But where does the sun go when the day ends? The little boy asked. The day doesn't end, said his mother. It begins somewhere else. The sun will be shining there when night begins here. Nothing ends. Nothing? The little boy asked. Nothing, said his mother. It begins in another place or in a different way. The little boy lay in bed and his mother sat beside him. Where does the wind go when it stops? He asked. It blows away to make the trees dance somewhere else. Where does the dandelion fluff go when it blows away? It carries the seed to new dandelions on someone's lawn. Well, where does the mountain go after the top? Down where it becomes a valley. Where do the waves go when they break on the sand? Sucked back to the sea into new waves. Where does the rain go when the storm is over? Into clouds to make other storms. And where do clouds go when they move across the sky? To make shade somewhere else. And the leaves in the forest, when they turn color and fall? Into the ground to become part of new trees with new leaves. But when the leaves fall, that's the end of something, the little boy said. It's the end of autumn. Yes, his mother said. The end of autumn is when the winter begins. And the end of winter? The little boy asked. The end of winter, when the snow melts and the birds come back, is the beginning of spring, his mother said. The little boy smiled. It really does go on, he said. Nothing ends. He looked out at the sky. The sun was gone completely. The lovely pink clouds had disappeared. The sky was dark and purple-black. High above the branches of the pear tree shone clearly now a thin, new moon. Today is over, his mother said. It's time for sleep, and tomorrow morning when you wake, the moon will be beginning a night far away, and the sun will be here to begin a new day. The end. If you'd like to join us for religious education upstairs, we're going to meet in the lobby out there where I'm going to leave this book if you'd like to see the pictures after the service. And we'll head upstairs to discuss a few pioneers in their field because today is Pioneer Day. You ready? Let's do it.
I'm not quite as tall as you are. Today's reading comes from Joy, from The Wisdom of No Escape and the Path of Loving Kindness by Pema Chodron. There is a story of a young woman running away from tigers. She runs and runs, and the tigers are getting closer and closer. When she comes to the edge of a cliff, she sees some vines there, so she climbs down and holds on to the vines. Looking down, she sees that there are tigers below her as well. She then notices that a mouse is gnawing away at the vine to which she is clinging. She also sees a beautiful little bunch of strawberries close to her, growing out of a clump of grass. She looks up and she looks down. She looks at the mouse. Then she takes the strawberry, puts it in her mouth, and enjoys it thoroughly. Tigers above, tigers below. This is exactly the predicament that we are always in terms of our birth and death. Each moment is just what it is. It might be the only moment of our life. It might be the only strawberry we'll ever eat. We could get depressed about it, or we could finally appreciate it and delight in the preciousness of every single moment of our life. Thich Nhat Hanh, in his walking guide to meditation, or his guide to walking meditation, begins by talking about how everybody carries around this burden. And if you want to lay it down, you can do it. Behind all the worry, complaint, and disapproval that goes on in your mind, the sun is always coming up in the morning, moving across the sky, and going down in the evening. The birds are always out there collecting their foods and making their nests and flying across the sky. The grass is always being blown by the wind or standing still. Food and flowers and trees are growing out of the earth. There's enormous richness. You could develop your passion for life and your curiosity and your interest. You could connect with your joyfulness. You could start right now. The Navajo teach their children that every morning when the sun comes up, it's a brand new sun. It's born each morning, it lives for the duration of one day, and in the evening it passes on, never to return again. As soon as the children are old enough to understand, the adults take them out at dawn and they say, "The sun has only one day. You must live this day in a good way so that the sun won't have wasted precious time."
A hair's breadth, an apple peel away from the darkness of space we all spin. This morning, even the dandelion doesn't reach me, nor the strawberry shine. My sweet boy draws a perfunctory smile to my lips, but not to my eyes. I choose this, to turn away from the invitation, to shun the warm sun. I am setting the strawberry on the table. I will enjoy it later. For now, I can only breathe, exhaling the shadow from my breast into the dark beyond. I wrote this poem in 2018 as an acknowledgement of the depression that was visiting me at the time. I was navigating motherhood of 3 children, career loss, loss of marriage, and all the challenges of learning to advocate for my youngest child, who was experiencing significant medical challenges. My memory is that I felt like I was hanging on by a thread or a vine, just trying to get through the next moment and the next and the next. Holding on was all I could manage. And I wrote that poem not having yet heard the story of the tigers and the strawberry. And when I did hear it, I was pissed. And by the way, Rev Alex was the person who shared that story. I was certain it was the worst story I had ever heard. And then over months and years, it became one of the best stories I had ever heard. There are a number of interpretations, and some are more ambitious than others. But in my mind, the story is about choice and attention. It is about living in the present moment, that no matter how stacked the odds are against us, even when we know that the world as we know it is going to end, we can still choose to reach out or in and connect to the sacred, to joy, to love. And as I described in my poem, we can also choose to shut down that same connection. And that is what we often experience when we are struggling with depression or anxiety, or when we are just tired. Here are what I found to be the most important implications for me in this tale. That love, joy, gratitude, the sweetness of these are always within reach. They are present and available to us in every moment of our lives, whether we acknowledge them or not. They do not cease simply because we aren't looking, and we have only to reach for them, to lay aside the disconnecting burdens of attachment, resentment, bitterness, to free our arms so we can grasp what is already there. It is a choice. And sometimes, in my own experience, it is a choice which, even to contemplate, can leave us feeling incredulous or even angry. but it is a choice. This story has become for me a story of empowerment, of laying aside victimhood and choosing whether we choose to disconnect or whether we choose connection, nourishment, and acknowledging that just knowing something is within arm's length doesn't necessarily make it easy to reach for. I've always struggled to convey how some of the most beautiful and joyful moments of my life were also some of the most painful, and vice versa. The observation can so easily be dismissed or misconstrued by ourselves and by others in our desire for tidiness. And yet I have had times of extreme loss and grief, tigers above, tigers below, and nestled in the thick of tension and fear and urgency, there would be these glistening, succulent, sweet moments of bliss. A well-timed, inappropriate joke that makes you laugh in such a way, full-throated, that friend or relative that dropped everything to surprise you with their company. The song that hits at just the right moment, allowing your heart to swell and break and mend all at once, and your shoulders to unclench. The way the pollen clings to the legs of a honeybee at work. The smell of honeysuckle. The blue of a robin's egg. The taste of a perfect strawberry. 7 years ago, next month, I was sitting in a hospital bed with my aunt and my mom close by, and I had lost a child, and I very nearly lost myself in the process. I cannot remember what sparked it, but for some reason, we were all laughing, like tears in our eyes, just glowing with the release and the relief, awash in the love and gratitude of that connection. And it was then that a nurse in training, bless her heart, made a well-intended but unfortunate comment. Well, I'm glad you can see the bright side of things. That comment. Shame shut my mouth so fast I might have bitten my tongue. The laughter soured in my throat. Bitterness severed my connection to the moment. I was angry. I was grieving. And quick as I could, I was picking back up those burdens of should and regret and fear. I felt defensive, but more than that, I felt guilty. I had been caught eating the strawberry. Surely it was not appropriate for a bereaved mother to be laughing and tapping into joy. So here's what I want to tell you, and by extension, tell my past self. Eat the strawberry. It is okay to eat the strawberry. Our feelings, our emotions are neither jealous nor monogamous. They do not demand that we sit with only one at a time. In reality, our emotions are tangled and untidy visitors. We cannot truly open ourselves to joy without also opening ourselves to pain. And we cannot know grief without having loved. The contrast the interdependence, makes each more poignant and more meaningful. So don't begrudge the full braided mess of the moment. Now here's another thing. When one is clinging to that proverbial vine, and all paths promise pain, to open oneself to that sweetness is not an act of denial or naivete. In the story, the girl looks up, tigers, and she looks down, tigers, and she sees the mouse gnawing the vine. She is fully aware of her situation. She sees clearly her predicament and that her time is short. And she takes the time she has and fills it with what goodness she can. She does not spend her last fleeting moments dwelling upon her own inevitable demise. She spends them fully alive, savoring to the last. And in doing so, she is not dying. She's living. And so it is for all of us. Whether we are pursued by tigers, or grieving loss, or battling disease, or ennui, or hopelessness, regardless of what your spiritual beliefs are or are not, most of us can agree on one thing, that our time in these bodies will come to an end. The mouse is chewing the vine. Either our grip on this life will ultimately grow weak, or the vine will be severed. So, do we spend our precious moments in this life agonizing and counting down the seconds to the end that we know will come regardless? Or do we seek the grace available to us in every moment? This past spring, I took my boys strawberry picking. And the older two ran ahead, of course, filling their mouths and their buckets in record time. My youngest had not been strawberry picking before. He has some mobility challenges, so his caregiver and I we partnered to help him navigate the rows, showing him how to look beneath the leaves to find the bright red sweetness tucked always just out of sight. And we all need help sometimes to remember that just because we can't see the sweetness in a particular moment doesn't mean it's not there, inches from our fingertips. We can hold each other's arms for support. We can peer under the leaves and kneel in the mud side by side, seeking. We can fill our own buckets and those of others. There is plenty for those who know how to look. Blessed be. We are going to sing a favorite, number 123 in your hymnals, Spirit of Life. I ask that you please mask if you are going to sing. This song was written by Carolyn McDade when she was in a place of tigers above, tigers below. And it is a prayer of connection.
It's number 123, in case you forgot already. Spirit of life, unto me, all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
The work of this church requires the time, talent, and treasures of many people. As we collect today's offering, know that your generous gifts will go towards futuring the mission of our church. The ushers will now move among you. For all you do for the church, for yourself, and for others.
Am I early?
Sorry?
Am I early?
No.
Okay. right on time, finally. Okay, I'm Michael Smith, and I'm representing the Caring Committee this morning. The Caring Committee records the joys and concerns of our congregation so that we be a true community and share these things together. There are several ways to express your joys and concerns. One, you can do so by contacting Sally Garber, who is the chairman of the Caring Committee, or you can see one of the members who will be glad to pass it along, or you can write it in this book. This book is each Sunday on the chancel here, and you can write it then, or during the week. It's located in the hallway by the name tags. It's on a pedestal there, and you can write your joys and concerns there. So now we enter into a period of expressing both joys and concerns. First of all, Beth Griffin will be having hip replacement surgery tomorrow. We ask that you keep her in your thoughts and prayers and maybe wish her a little luck. Number two, Jane and Spike Harrison have a bit of the COVID and are recovering at home. And then the joy, Jim Esberg will be moving full-time to Roanoke. That's a good thing, Michael, right? Yes, okay, great. So those are our joys and concerns. Please keep these folks in your prayers. There's one more.
Yeah, there's one more. Mary Benke has moved into Woodland Hills,
Yes.
and she welcomes short visits if you would like to see her there.
We have a new address too. We have several new things. One, I have one more. A joy. New art is hanging on our walls. I noticed that. Please take a few minutes to look at it after church. Our church gets a portion of any sale. And if you would like Mary Benke's address, it's here in this book, and so you're more than welcome to come and write it down. And now, Nina and I will light the candles.
Some of our concerns and joys seem too small to speak in front of so many people, and sometimes they seem too big. So we light candles for all of those that seem too small and those that seem too great, and for all the people who are not here in this room with us today. You are with us in our hearts. Blessed be.
Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Sing with me.
going to take this list of announcements and break it down very small. So just remember that masks are still optional at the church, even though COVID rates have been going up. Statistically, the death rate has actually been going down, which is good news. UUCR board meetings have changed. They are now on Tuesdays, the second Tuesday of each month, and the next at 6:30 in the Olin Room. The next one will be August the 9th. Our email system seems to still be sending out random emails to people asking for bank cards and gift cards, and just delete those. That's spam. That no one would hear from the church would do that. Remember that if you have a submission for the August newsletter, which is the anchor, it is due by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. July seems to have gone by really quickly, didn't it? Yeah. And send those to Sam in our office. Huge thanks to Jerry Trammell for helping Cox get our Wi-Fi back up. As you know, we were down for a week, and it was just a little bit frustrating for everybody. So kudos to Jerry. And finally, in terms of Mary's address, there was a misprint. Her zip code is 24018. I will make sure that that's correct in here. And again, make sure you join us for coffee at the end of the service. Anna?
That was no simple gift. Spirit of life. Every one of us will have moments in our lives where whatever path we take promises hardship. Tigers above us, tigers below. Our palms will grow sore and raw from clinging to the vine. And even in these moments, especially in these moments, let us remember that which is always within reach, whether we see it or not, whether we choose it or not. But you can eat the strawberry. It's okay to eat the strawberry. Blessed be. Amen and Ashe. We extinguish our chalice with words from Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.